What's up guys, Nick the Tutor, and I'm back again with another video this week about APs and cheating, right? A lot of people have suggested there's going to be mass cheating on the APs this year, which is a pretty valid assumption. And in this video, I'm going to discuss how people might be trying to cheat and what measures the College Board has taken in order to prevent people from cheating. I want to preface this video by saying that I am in no way, shape, or form condoning cheating, and I suggest that everyone out there acts with 100% honesty while taking these tests. Now that said, I don't want anyone to fall into a situation where they accidentally do something that is considered cheating and have their score canceled. So what I'm going to go through is the different measures that the College Board is taking and how we as students can prepare for the test knowing what we'll have to do. So let's get into it. First thing I want to discuss is, will people cheat? A lot of people have been asking me about that. Look, people cheat on every test. I mean, to be honest, people cheat on the SAT, they cheat on the ACT. I've seen other students cheat in law school, on exams, in college, in high school. Look, cheating is part of tests, right? I don't know if people will be more prone to cheat because the test is online. I think the College Board is banking on there's going to be people that cheat, there's going to be people that don't. Whether we give the test online or we give it in person, it's probably going to be a similar amount. So I would say overall, there might actually not be that much more cheating on this test than any other test. I think the College Board is going to put in a lot of measures to scare students out of cheating, which is, you know, a very valid thing, right? You want to be afraid of the consequences of cheating. That said, as the students, what we want to know is what is considered cheating, what's allowed, and what's not, and that's what I'm going to go into today. You want to watch this video all the way until the end, because what we're going to have is some tips at the end on how you can prepare for the test and avoid any issues, that you can be most prepared for the exam but not be considered cheating. Now, the first thing I want to discuss is the internet, right? Will you be allowed to use the internet? Now, the College Board has stated, yes, you will be allowed to use the internet, but in what capacity? Will your browser be locked down in some way while you're taking the test? That we really don't know yet, like if there's going to be a software download when you take the APs. Now, from personal experience in law school, we had lockdown software where you would have to download software to take the test, and when you took the test, it would kind of lock you out of other apps on your computer, on your device, so that you couldn't cheat or do things they didn't want you to do. So we'll see, maybe there's something like that we don't really know yet, but what we do know is they have stated you are allowed to use the internet. Now, as I said in my last video, which was about how to get a 5 on these APs, I discussed that the tests are open note. One thing you can do is you can bring your notes. Now, the question will be, which I don't think is answered yet, is do those notes have to be on paper, or can those notes be digitized notes? Like, will you be able to open a Word document or a PDF? I think the answer to that is yes. I'm not certain because we don't know yet, but I think that you will be able to access notes that you've made on your computer, as well as study guides and whatnot. You want to watch into this video because what I'm going to discuss at the end is why all these cheating measures actually don't work, like why it's going to be very hard to cheat. I'm going to leave that to last, that's the most important point, but I want to discuss all the facets of the process first, so let's keep going. Okay, so we know we're allowed to use our notes, we know we're allowed to use the internet. That said, what will be considered cheating? Well, the big thing that they're considering cheating is communicating with friends. So you're not supposed to be able to communicate with any friends or any other people during the time of the exam. So that's the big one that they're probably going to try to police. Now the question is, how will they do that? How will they tell if you're communicating with someone and not doing the test? Well, I think a few things that they're talking about would, one, be some kind of software that can tell whether you're actually doing the exam or not. If you were idle for 20 minutes during a 45-minute exam because you went to your phone in another room, called someone, spoke to them about it, and came back, that would be a sign that you're probably cheating. Now, students are probably thinking right now, rightfully so, well, what if I'm taking my time? Or what if I'm rereading something? Or what if I'm jotting down notes? That's a great question. There are softwares out there that can tell how someone normally would act on a test, and that could be something they would use. The second thing they could use is called a keylogger. Basically, a keylogger logs every key and input you put into your computer. So if you type something on a different website or a chat box or something like that, it will know that you've typed that, right? That's very, very possible they're using something like that, and that could be a way that they could definitely detect, say, you chatting with a friend or using a messaging software like GChat to contact classmates or something like that, right? There's a lot of ways that that could be used. I don't know exactly how they will or if they will, but that's one I know is very popular in terms of plagiarism detection and cheating. The last thing leading into that point would be plagiarism detection software. So there's software that can literally tell, okay, this information was copied directly from the internet or directly from someone else. Even if you change the words a little bit, it's still smart enough to figure that out. So one thing you can't do is just go copy stuff off the internet, retype it a little bit, change a few words, and then add that to your essay. That probably will be picked up by advanced plagiarism detection software. So those are 3 ways that they can actually police this. And you want to be careful that you don't fall into that by accident. So you don't want to have your messaging software up, right? You don't want to have any way that other students can contact you during the test where you might slip up and write something to them. Even if you're like, please leave me alone, and it knows you said that, then there may be some, insinuation that someone cheated. So I would just lock down my computer and not be on any messaging software while I'm doing this exam. The next thing that they're going to do, which is really interesting, is they're going to show your paper or your answers to your teacher. Now, that's another great way that they can use to detect students that knew nothing all year but somehow pulled a 5 answer on the test. Now, you could also say, well, what if that student actually studied? I know there's some problems with that. I think that's more of a scare tactic than anything. I'm actually a little bit afraid about that for students that, maybe are quote unquote slackers and are pulling it together at the last moment. Or if you have the teacher that's not on your side. We hope that integrity reigns supreme there, but that one I think is more of something they're saying, and I hope is, used sparingly or used in extreme circumstances, because that's, really open to interpretation whether like cheating happened or not. So that's one that I want to throw out there as something that they've discussed, but maybe not as prevalent. Now, the other thing I want to discuss was that they actually said on their website, in speaking about scare tactics, that they would actually involve law enforcement in some instances. So, you don't want to hear those sirens coming down your block when you're taking your AP and the cops knocking on your door. Hey, what are you guys doing? You cheating? What's up? That I thought was a little bit funny and ridiculous on their part. But if say someone, took the exam in an early time zone and posted all the answers online, I guess that doesn't work. Actually, scratch that. That's not even possible because the test will be given at the same time. But say someone quickly, wrote an answer and posted it on Reddit or, mass emailed it. I don't know, like some kind of mass cheating. Or maybe they get the questions somehow beforehand. They, say you're a great hacker, you hack into the College Board testing software, and you obtain the question, you answer it, and you disseminate the answer, then yeah, you're probably going to go to jail. So definitely don't do that. At the end of the day, I think it's funny because a lot of cheating detection and cheating prevention measures are scare tactics, and I think it is legitimate for students to be afraid of these measures. I wouldn't want to be wrongly caught up in a situation where they're telling me that I cheated on the exam and I didn't, right? So I think that promotes students to act in accordance with what they're telling you to do, right? And not try to bend the rules. So that's one thing I would be careful of, is like any students thinking of, okay, I don't want to cheat, but I'm going to bend the rules to the maximum that I can bend them by doing certain things. I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea this time around. I feel like they're really going to have to police this, in certain instances, and you don't want to have an example made of you in this case. All right, guys, one of my last points and my most important points on this exam: you simply will not have enough time to cheat. The reason they're cutting the exam down to 45 minutes is that they're going ACT style testing where you have very little time. Most students, I would imagine, are not going to be able to complete the task in the time, which is going to greatly affect the curve. Now, how does that work? Well, what they're going to do is they're going to reward students that actually know and have memorized and synthesized the material, right? If you're talking about a DBQ in math and science, if you don't know exactly what you're doing, it's going to be very hard to look up and teach yourself calculus or chemistry in the middle of a 45-minute test, right? If you haven't taught it to yourself all year, you're not figuring it out in 45 minutes with every cheat sheet and every piece of assistance other than someone telling you the answer, right? So that's number one, is within a 45-minute time frame, you simply will not have enough time to cheat. Secondarily, they're actually encouraging students to have notes so that there is no situation where having notes or using outside sources or whatever it may be would be considered cheating, because it just doesn't work. That's the reason they're allowing you to have notes. It's like, why does the SAT give you a math formula sheet on the beginning of the math section of the SAT? It's because having the formulas barely helps. Having the cheat sheet or the review sheet will barely help if you haven't studied it. So what I implore all of you to do is remember to actually study for this exam. You cannot rely on a cheat sheet or a study guide on the day of the test to succeed on the test. Now, you can rely on that before the test, and I have 13, at this moment of recording this video, 13 study guides available on my website. I have 2 or 3 more dropping this week, so we should have about 15 or 16 AP study guides on my website. I also have an SAT one as well, but we're gonna have those available for you guys for free, so definitely go check those out. I'll leave the link below and you can download those. If you like those, definitely subscribe to my channel because we're releasing more free resources as we go along. But that said, that's a great tool to study before the test, but that's not going to work during the actual AP exam. All right, guys, I just want to summarize what I said quickly. Number 1, will people cheat on this exam? 100% people are going to cheat. They cheat on everything. That's a fact of life. Unfortunately, obviously, you don't want to be that person, because the more people that cheat, the less value these exams hold going forward. So you really shouldn't contribute to the cheating, because then it's going to affect everyone who is applying to college and who wants college credit from the APs. Number 2, College Board is going to use plagiarism detection software, possibly keyloggers and other possible software, or analytic measures to figure out if you're cheating or not. So you want to make sure you keep your academic integrity up. Obviously, that's a big issue when applying to college. If you're caught cheating on something, that's going to be a terrible look for you. Obviously, we want to make sure we're looking for the future, not just right now. Number 3, you're simply not going to have enough time to cheat on the exam and look up the answers and formulate some kind of answer. It's just not going to work. That's why they're crunching the exam down into such a small time frame. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, well, what if I just have someone feed me the answers or tell me the answer? Then how would they know? I'll get it done in the time. I'll be typing the whole time. I'll be writing my own answer. The problem with that is the person that would possibly feed you the answer is also doing the test at the same time. You'd have to get an older sibling or an adult who knows this, who's going to be complicit in cheating, to tell you the answers, and that's also probably unlikely. So at the end of the day, for all the students out there, I probably wouldn't worry too much about it. If you stick to your guns, you study hard for these exams, and you put forth a competent answer, you're going to rock it. You're going to kill it. There's going to be no problem. So don't worry about the cheaters out there. They obviously exist, and as long as you do the best that you can and study for this exam, I think based on the time frame and the changes to the test, you're going to rock it. You're going to get that 5, and that's all that matters. All right, guys, I'm Nick the Tutor. Thanks for watching this video. More content coming soon. Of course, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.